first game of this Sunday slate of SFL action takes us to Tulsa for a critical game for these two teams. The Predators must win to keep their faint playoff hopes afloat, while the Desperados must win to stay in contention in a suddenly tight Atlantic Division. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Lucy Red Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Alongside producer extraordinaire Chairman Irvine, our statisticians Paulie Truth and Ethan Kai, and my partner Mickey Malillo, I'm Tim Hackett. You're watching Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. Happy to have you with us. First and foremost, Mickey, welcome to the team, and more importantly, welcome to a crucial Week 12 tilts for these two teams.
Thank you, Tim. Yeah, this is very crucial. Again, just like you said, Charleston really needs to win out these three games if they want to keep their wild card picture alive. Tulsa in a three-way tie, currently holding second place before this week. With Sioux Falls and Minnesota getting wins this week, they need to win just to keep their playoff hopes alive.
It really is that easy at this stage of the year, Mickey. I mean, this is Week 12, only 2 games left for these two teams after today. Charleston coming in at 3-6. If you lose today, you're 3-7, and pretty much have no chance of sneaking into the playoffs. And with the way that the rest of the league is shaken out so far here in Week 12, it's a loss for Tulsa. It isn't curtains for them, but it means it will be a whole lot harder for them to get back into the mix.
Yeah, it's very true. They do have a couple of tiebreakers against the other central teams, but for them to stay within the playoff picture, they do need a win today.
This has been a really even all-time series, the 8th installments. The first 7 have gone almost splits. 4 wins one way, 3 wins another way. And this matchup here in Season 19 of the Simulation Football League is a critical one. Tulsa will get the ball first at home, and we are underway in this first of 4 games on this SFL Sunday slate. Gabriel Manning, one of the greatest kick returners in SFL history, is off to a rousing start across the 35 and stopped there by Mason Cox. Great starting field position for Tulsa to start this day.
Yeah, it looked like Gabriel Manning had a lane there. If it wasn't for Cox coming in and just closing up that lane, he could have gone all the way.
Gabriel Manning crossed 10,000 career receiving yards a couple of weeks ago, which is one of the top 10 highest marks of all time in terms of receiving yards, but he has more career kick and punt return yards than receiving yards in his career. Shows you how dynamic he is in that phase of the game. JQ will throw on the first play of the game, hits Douglas Brown out of the backfield. Get used to that combination playing together quite a lot. Charleston has to watch Tulsa go across midfield on one play.
Yeah, Douglas Brown seems to be one of the favorite targets for JQ, so keep an eye on him. He's going to be big today for Tulsa.
One of the league's leading rushers, Douglas Brown, decent in the pass game as well. Not a ton of yards, only 318 through 9 weeks, but 3 touchdowns and good for 5.5 yards per catch and more than 5 yards per carry as well. From the 49, Q will fire down the left sideline. Manning is there, and one-on-one coverage. Great defense from the veteran cornerback, Jacob Clear.
And Jacob Clear just had great coverage on that play. Put his arms up right at the right time to deflect that ball.
Veteran Clear was really this team's number 3 corner last year, Mickey. And as we'll talk about, Charleston has had a complete, more than just a facelift, really full-on reconstructive surgery on both sides of the ball over the offseason, and Clear now moving back to that number 1 spot. He's been very, very good this year. Second down. JQ over the middle. That time Manning is open. A step inside of Jacob Clear and inside the 25-yard line. A gain of 25 for Money Manning.
And Manning just got behind all the defenders there. Charleston had four defensive backs. Manning just found the right spot. Q saw him and just dropped it right in.
6th-season veteran Jacob Clear, now in his 3rd season playing for Charleston, the team that he's the coach of. Couldn't stop Gabriel Manning there. First carry of the day for Douglas Brown, and he is thrown down. Brown versus Brown. Get used to this matchup today as well, Mickey. Jack Brown, the veteran backer, with the tackle.
Yeah, Brown versus Brown. It's going to be a huge matchup. Which Brown is going to come out on top on this one?
Jack Brown, an outside linebacker again this year, formerly a middle linebacker, moved outside and has had kind of a quiet year by his very lofty standards. Loss of 1. The pass is dropped and then intercepted by Ricky Thornton. The former Tulsa Desperado hauls in his 7th pick and puts a stop to a great Tulsa drive.
was right there, just in the right place at the right time to get that pick.
How did that ball get out of the hands of the receiver, Mickey? I thought for sure that was going to be close to a first down.
I have no idea if maybe he didn't put enough stick 'em on his hands today.
Either way, Ricky Thornton says, thank you very much. The free safety here for Charleston after a couple of years with Tulsa. So now Kentez Johnson will start things up. He will toss it out to Keith Swearingen. So just like Tulsa tried to get its running back involved on the first play from scrimmage, so too does Charleston, and that is a play we will see a lot, Mickey. A toss out to the tailback.
Swearingen's going to be big for Charleston today, just like Brown is for Tulsa. Keep your eye on him. He's going to do big things.
He's one of the league's leaders in rushing yards and also in receptions. You heard me correctly. Top 10 in both of those categories. Gain of 4. Now Johnson will fire, and it's caught. A step behind the defense. Dusty Roark across midfield on the second play from scrimmage for the Preds.
Looked like Roark just had a step on the defenders there, and Johnson saw it, took advantage of it, get him downfield. 1st and 10 right now for Charleston.
And I like your choice of words, because take advantage of is something that teams have done against this Tulsa pass defense all season. Through 9 games, they are dead last in the league. No one allows more passing yards than Tulsa, 341 per game. Johnson throws it short. That's caught by Christopher Ochoa. That gain to Dusty Roark went for 35 yards, and Tulsa already has to watch Charleston set up on the 42.
Yeah, Charleston's getting within field goal range. Looks like they might get their first score of the game here.
Talked about the facelift defensively for Charleston. Same could be said on the offense. A bunch of brand new pass catchers for Kentez Johnson in his first full season as the Predators QB. First run today for Keith Swearingen, and it's a good one. A gain of 7 right to the 35-yard line.
Like I said before, keep an eye on Swearingen. He's just going to take that ball, go right up the gut. If he finds a hole, he's going to fill it, and he's going to go down the field.
He's such a dynamic running back, Mickey. He seems to make something out of nothing.
Every time he touches the ball, you're absolutely right, Tim.
He's 17th in the league in carries, but 4th in rushing yards with over 1,000. Surpassed that mark yet again in his career a week ago. 1,015 rushing yards before today, despite only 156 carries. They go back to him, and Tulsa is ready. A couple of desperados were there to bring Swearingen down in the backfield. A loss of 1 for David Ware.
It looks like David Ware was a little keen to what they were going to do there, so they were going to go to Swearingen again. Just came on the other side of the line, took him down for a loss of 1.
You mentioned that Tulsa's pass defense is last in the league. Their run defense is quite good. 7th. They only allow 80 rushing yards per game on average. They get Tulsa to jump, though. Free play for Kentez Johnson, and he will loft it over to the near side. Davius Reed makes that catch, and we'll have to check the marker for the first time today.
Neutral zone infraction, number 91. Defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat.
It will be an offside neutral zone infraction against Jaden Swift. This has been a problem this season for Tulsa, Mickey. They do not get a lot of pressure. They do not get a lot of TFLs, despite what you just saw in the previous play. And Jaden Swift trying to get in there and affect some change and got in there too soon.
Tulsa wants to win this game. They got to make sure they keep the dirty laundry off the field. They got to play a clean game and just play their game.
Charleston accepts the penalty, so it will be 2nd and 5 from outside the 30. Tulsa again shows blitz. Short drop for Johnson, and his pass is swatted. Miles Gibson, the middle linebacker, brings an end to that one.
And Miles just saw that he was dropping back the pass, stayed in his zone, kept his eyes on the quarterback, and just put his hand up at the right time.
You can see him right there in the center of your picture. He was spying the whole way and just reached up and knocked it down.
Exactly what he has to do as that inside linebacker.
Tulsa's leader in tackles with 78, his 8th pass deflection of the season. The Preds will spread it out wide. Remember, they love to target Swearingen in the passing game, but he's off the field on this 3rd down. Charleston has been very bad on 3rd downs this season. Not this time, right on the money. A little bit behind, but that's good enough for Nat Fife, the number 4 wide receiver on this team. And Charleston goes down the depth chart to pick up the 1st down.
And it looks like Tulsa gave him a little bit of cushion there, gave him just enough room for Fife to be able to get the 1st down.
Exactly what was needed. Out to the 22-yard line. 3 brand new wideouts for Kentez Johnson this season, and of course Dusty Roark moving up to become the #1 tight end. Swearingen gets the give and wrenched down once again. This time it's Mike Mello, who had his first career sack, first career TFL last week, making TFL #2.
Oh, Mike Mello's just making his name known now. 1 TFL last week, 1 this week. Let's see if he can keep it going.
He had 2 pass deflections, but was not able to do anything in the backfield before last week. We'll toss it out to Swearingen again, breaks through the tackle of Miles Gibson, and somehow Keith Swearingen gets out to the 20-yard line, brought down there by number 52 for Charleston, or for Tulsa, excuse me, that's Chris Andrews, and somehow Swearingen, again, makes something out of nothing.
You're going to see that all game today with Swearingen. He just has this uncanny ability just to be able to break tackles and go up the field.
He had 69 catches before today. That was 10th most in the league among all players, not among running backs, among all players. Gets 4 there. In the backfield, but Johnson won't look his way over the middle. He goes, and it's caught. Touchdown, Charleston. The interception turns into a touchdown, and the Preds strike first on the road. It's Saren Storm.
Saren Storm was on a post route there from the right side. He just happened to find an open lane, and Johnson saw him and once again took advantage of having a step on those defenders for the score.
Yeah, great cut back in by Saren Storm. And like you mentioned, Mickey, I mean, he just beat the coverage right there. Skinny Washington, the rookie corner, no match for the veteran Saren Storm on that. 3rd receiving touchdown for the well-traveled wideouts. And Charleston strikes first. Look at that, 11 plays after that crazy interception. And Charleston takes full advantage. PAT from Brad Breckett, and he knocks it through. So what a start for Charleston. Tulsa gets a great kick return for Gabriel Manning. Probably won't be the last of those that we see in this game. They go all the way down the field, and then that crazy interception for JQ, who has thrown a lot over the course of his career, a lot less so this season, but another one for him there, and Charleston punishes him with 7 points.
The big key on that drive was Johnson. He was 6 for 7 for 79 yards. If he keeps throwing the ball like that all game, Tulsa's going to have problems.
Yeah, he's been kind of slow this season somewhat, Kentez Johnson, but really solid start for him. Manning tries to get that return, but then he is stacked up by Sam Blotner, young cornerback for Charleston. We're live at Lucy Red Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Visit Lucy Red Energy Drink at lucyred.com and see why the energy is amazing. Happy to have you with us live here on YouTube. Tim Hackett and Mickey Melillo with you live. Second game of 4 on this Sunday slate, getting ready to kick off over on Twitch. JQ back under center. Offset eye, Douglas Brown gets the give, and he is blown up in the backfield. Great stop there by the Predators defense. That is Mar Rivers, who had a killer game last week in his return to the SFL.
Yeah, Mar Rivers read that play perfectly, just went over the line, get into the backfield for that TFL.
Kind of quiet. I mean, frankly, Mickey, I wasn't sure if we had seen the last of Mar Rivers in the SFL. Last played for the LA Lycans a couple of seasons ago, but returned to play for Charleston this year, and 2 sacks for him last week in a resurgent season. JQ locks and loads, fires, right sideline, caught. First down and a dime from JQ to Corey Jones.
And Corey Jones was double covered there, but JQ just happened to put the ball perfectly, and Corey Jones just reached up, grabbed it for the first down.
We mentioned that Q has thrown a lot of interceptions over the course of his career. He's thrown 21 now this season. Those 20 were actually tied for 9th fewest in the league, so sounds like a big number through 9 games, but relative to the league, really wasn't. But 3 interceptions last week due to Tulsa against DC. There's another great throw from Q. That time he hits his man right over the middle. It's DJ Hume on the catch, and another first down.
John Stamango came in, saw the receiver coming across the middle, put a huge hit on that receiver right there.
Back-to-back plays of double-digit yards. That last one to Jones went for about 13. That one to DJ Hume went for about 15. Move the sticks. Here's Douglas Brown trying to get back in the positives, and he does. Nice run. Let's introduce you to the Tulsa offense. Deion Hawkins is the head coach. Gabe Manning is the OC. JQ the quarterback. Douglas Brown the tailback. Justin Williams is the fullback. 4 wide receivers: Gabriel Manning, DJ Hume, Corey Jones, and Sanzo Robinson. Tight end Jim Copeland Jr. and the offensive line anchored by left tackle Will Stevens and right tackle Phoebe Collins. Gain of 4 on the ground. Now Q will throw. Has a man open in a diving attempt, and it's out of the reach of Corey Jones. Couldn't quite hold on to it that time. Looked like he was open.
Corey Jones was wide open there. JQ just overthrew the ball just a little bit. It was pretty good placement. If he just let him just a little bit less, it could have been big yardage there.
You surprised how much Tulsa is throwing to start this game?
A little bit, but I think if they're going to want to win this game, they're going to need yardage against Charleston.
No doubt. And Charleston, historically one of the best defenses in the league. Less so this year, but still pretty good. On third down, Q this way. The pass is caught. It was behind Sanzo Robinson, but he's able to haul it in. But he falls down short by a couple of yards of the first down line with Stamango in coverage.
Yeah, like I said, Tulsa has to get down the field. It's going to be a long field goal if they attempt it. But it looks like they're coming out for fourth down.
They bring the offense back out here. What do you think about this?
It's a tough call, but it's early in the game. So if it doesn't work out, they can at least try to make it up later on in the game.
Bracing myself for the inevitable SFL bait and switch. 5 seconds left on the play clock. Charleston brings an extra 5th player on the line, and timeout is indeed called by JQ. You see this about every other week, it feels like, Mickey, and JQ and Deion Hawkins will use a timeout here in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was worth at least trying to get the defense to jump. They get that free first down. Didn't work out in their favor this time, but looks like they're going to kick the ball. See if they're going to go for 3 or just give it back over to Charleston. So it does look like that Tulsa did punt the ball. They did try to recover it, but the momentum took the defender into the end zone for a touchback.
Like, I lost my audio there for a second. My apologies. Thanks for picking me up, Mickey. I was just wondering what you think about that kind of play, because I see it a lot, and I tend to not love it, but ends up resulting in a touchback for Tulsa, and it'll be a decent start for Charleston. I'd love to get your thoughts after this play. Kentez Johnson under center, offset eye. Keith Swearingen gets the give. Nate Heslip right there on the tackle, and it's another TFL for Tulsa. Ware there to help. A team that is 3rd to last in the SFL in tackles for loss through 9 games, has a couple already here in the first quarter.
Yeah, to go back what you were saying before, Tim, I actually think it was a good play. They were on a 37-yard line, so it would be approximately a 55-yard field goal. So 55... It might be a little bit far for some kickers in the SFL, so putting them at the 20 with the touchback, I think it was a good plan.
I'm with you on that part. Swearingen with the toss and a couple of spin moves. That's one of his patented moves. And Keith Swearingen again gets Charleston back on the positive side of the script.
Keith Swearingen doing what he has so far this quarter, just making plays out of nothing.
Already his 3rd catch for 15 yards through the air. Again, 10th in the league in catches among all players. 7 receiving touchdowns to go with 7 rushing touchdowns. 3rd and 4. Johnson throws it up, and a diving attempt is incomplete. He was going for Ochoa, and then it's picked off on the back end by Travis Arthur. The 2nd time in this quarter, a receiver has dove for a ball and missed, and this time Tulsa takes advantage.
Yeah. Once again, it looks like just an overthrown ball. And the defender was in the right place, got the pick. Let's see if Tulsa could take advantage of this turnover.
Believe it or not, it's the first interception of the season for the free safety Travis Arthur in his 2nd season in the SFL. He's played every single game for the Desperados. Everybody else on this team has at least 2, and he finally has number 1. Douglas Brown with a nice run, a couple of spins. Bruising run for Brown and a gain of 8.
Looks like Douglas Brown was taking a play out of Swearingen's book there, doing a few spin moves, trying to make something out of nothing there.
First overall pick ahead of last season's SFL draft. Douglas Brown is back in a big way here in year 2. Top 10 in the league in every rushing category, and looks the part of the standout tailback going forward. Now Charleston jumps offside. Free play for Brown. It doesn't matter. They give it to him again, and he gets another first down.
It doesn't matter if they accept or decline this penalty. They're moving those chains, and that's what Tulsa needs to do to keep them in the game.
Really, literally doesn't matter at this point because it was pretty much the same exact yardage gained by Brown on that. So you might as well just give it to him and give him the stats.
I was actually thinking the same thing, Tim. Give him the 5 yards. Give him the carry.
I don't see why not. You got to pump those numbers up. His numbers don't need a lot of help, if we're honest. He's 9th in the league in carries, 10th in yards, 9th in touchdowns, and 10th in yards per carry, 5.2. One of the best backs in the league. He's off the field here, though. Q has time, throws over the middle. That's caught. Nice gain again on first down for Roderick Davis. There are 4 standout wideouts on this team. Roderick is not one of them, but he's got a nice gain of 9. And that is how the first quarter will end. End-to-end action here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Preds with a 7-0 lead. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music live on YouTube. Done with one here at Lucy Red Stadium in Tulsa. Alongside Mickey Melillo, I'm Tim Hackett. We've got Ethan Kai and Paulie Truth and Rochelle Colston in the stat truck. Cameron Irvine working hard behind the scenes. Thanks for joining us. Tulsa inside the red zone, trying to atone from a couple of earlier miscues. Brown cracks outside, spin move from Brown, and he's wrenched down inside the 10. Mark him at the 7. Another great run for the sophomore standouts.
Yeah, Robert Cherry was there for the tackle. If he wasn't there, Doug Brown was going to go in for the score.
That pursuit from Robert Cherry on the left side of your screen, the defensive tackle. Good call by you. Coming back to somehow stop that from looking like a sure touchdown.
Those defensive linemen, they may be big, but some of them are quick.
No doubt. 4.5 sacks this year for Cherry. Add a touchdown-saving tackle there. Q to the back of the end zone. Toe tap and a caught. It's caught. What a catch it was by Corey Jones.
JQ couldn't place that ball any better. Corey Jones was in the back corner right on the pylon. Put it just in the reach of Jones, and he pulled it in for the touchdown.
That's unbelievable. A perfect throw, like you said. And somehow Corey Jones spins around, taps the toes literally in the corner. And now Brooke Beisel come on to try to tie up this game. Just a couple of plays into the second quarter. High snap, but it's corralled and booted through by Beisel. No challenge, no review of any kind, Mickey. I'm a little surprised, but look, Tulsa will take it. 3rd touchdown of the season for the veteran wideout Corey Jones, canceling the 3rd touchdown of the season from Saren Storm, and we are all tied up.
Yeah, both teams took advantage of interceptions there, both scoring touchdowns, keeping this game close.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. Both teams taking full advantage of the interceptions and capitalizing immediately. Here's Saren Storm on the return. Haven't got to see him yet in this game, but you are looking at 2 of the best kick returners in the SFL this season. Gabriel Manning, we've already mentioned his career exploits. He's averaging better than 27 yards per return. That's 2nd best. Storm is right behind him, 26 yards per return. That's 3rd best in the league, and a decent return that time for Saren Storm will put Charleston starting off on the 25-yard line. Can either team take advantage of a sustained drive? There's a good start for Keith Swearingen, a hop step and a gain of 9 on first down.
You got to give the offensive line credit there. They made that hole for Swearingen to get up there so we can carry up for the 2nd 1 play.
2 free safeties have made impacts on this game as well. Ricky Thornton, the former Desperado, vacated this offseason, allowing Travis Arthur to ascend to that number 1 role. And they have the 2 interceptions so far this afternoon. 2nd and 1, Swearingen again. Cracks back inside. First down for Keith Swearingen. Here is the Charleston offense for head coach Jacob Clear. Kentez Johnson, the quarterback, his 2nd full season here with the Preds. Keith Swearingen, the veteran tailback. Terrell Sutherland is the fullback. 3 wide receivers, Davius Reed, Christopher Ochoa, and Saren Storm. Dusty Roark is the tight end. You've already heard from her. The offensive line, left guard Dusty Wilson, and right guard Damian Robichaux. Gives Kentez some time. His throw down the left sideline is swatted away by the veteran corner Nate Heslip, who's having a killer season.
Yeah, Charleston was in man-to-man coverage on that one. They kept the coverage tight. The free safety came over just to help him out when they saw the balls being thrown that way, but it was just great coverage for Tulsa.
11th season now for Nate Heslip, the veteran corner, and he's working on a great season. He's got 5 tackles for loss now, 12 pass breakups, 9 picks, that's third in the league, and a defensive touchdown. For all of Tulsa's struggles defensively, they have 4 players who have scored defensive touchdowns. That is the second highest total among all league teams, and of course, Heslip is one of them. Desperado showing blitz. They will send only 4, so Johnson tosses it out this way for Swearingen, runs into a pair of tacklers, including cornerback Cameron Shaw.
Yeah, Cameron Shaw was there with Chris Andrews, just read the play perfectly, saw that swing pass coming to the right-hand side, just stepped up, kept it to be a short game for Swearingen.
Tulsa's given up a ton of yards, they've given up a ton of first downs. Most passing yards in the league, as we've mentioned, but not that many points. Just 17th in points against, 29 per game. Short throw and dropped right on target for Nat Fife, who already made a catch earlier in this game for Charleston. Not this time, and they will send out the punt unit.
Yeah, the Desperados defense there, they just great pass coverage these past couple of plays.
4 star pass catchers on this team. They go Fife's way on third down. It has been a pain point for Charleston all season. They've converted just 48% their third down opportunities, 22nd in a 28-team league. First punt from Jared Roughhead, fielded by Gabriel Manning. We mentioned he's good at those, but good coverage for Charleston this time. If you're new to the SFL, go ahead, Mickey. Sorry.
No, go right ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
What you had to say, I think, is going to be more insightful than what I had to say.
Well, I was just going to say the Charleston defense just got down. They had great coverage on that play. Really stopped Manning from making anything happen after that punt.
And I got to see Tulsa in person last week, Mickey, and that was one of our narratives that week as well, was how good the return game was going to be, and the Tulsa kick return game was just stymied, and so too was their defense. Here's Manning on a quick catch and run, can't break through from a tackle from 128-yard line to the other 26-yard line. A big play for Money Manning.
And we were just talking about kick returns, but look what he did on that route, coming from the outside, over the middle on the post route, wide open, and just, as you said, just flip the field to the other side.
He was mad that he was stopped up for no gain on that punt return. So he says, all right, get me the ball in space on a catch. I'll show you what I can do. He has a 26-yard reception and now a 46-yard reception in this game. 72 yards on just 2 grabs for one of the SFL's best. He was quiet in the first half last week against DC. Finally caught fire late, but Tulsa still not able to win that game. Q with a dot. Well short of the sticks, just a couple of yards past the line of scrimmage. Jim Copeland Jr., the tight end, with his first catch.
Yeah, it looked like the Charleston defense, they were in a good zone coverage, saw the play coming over underneath, stepped up, kept the gain to short.
Last week against DC, Gabriel Manning had 5 catches for 64 yards, but almost all of that action came in the second half. Gain of 2 for Copeland. Here's Brown, spins right into the teeth of the defense, and they'll give him 1. Kevin Brackett with the stop.
Well, Tulsa's doing everything they can to try to mix up their offense with passing and running the ball. If Doug Brown can break one here, it's going to be huge for Tulsa to take the lead.
They've been very balanced, no doubt. 11 pass attempts for Q, 6. Check that, 11 pass attempts for Q, 6 rushing attempts for Brown. Here's number 7 for Brown. And he gets to the 20-yard line and no further. It'll be 4th down for Tulsa. Now a decision for Deion Hawkins.
Well, it does look like they're going to go for 3 here. Brooke Beisel coming out. This is a good decision. Get the 3, take the lead. Let Charleston try to play from behind.
And they will bring out Brooke Beisel, who's 17 of 18 on her kicks. Second-year place kicker, hold down from DeShera Young, and Beisel is good from 36 yards out, and Tulsa has the lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, like I said, that was a great play call there. get those 3 points. I got a strange feeling this is going to be a seesaw battle all game.
It has been, it seems like, historically between these two teams. Again, the all-time series is dead even, and this game means so much to both teams. If you're just joining us, we'll outline it even more as we go along, but this is really do or die for Charleston, it feels like today, Mickey, and less so for Tulsa, but because of how other games have gone already in the league here this weekend, if Tulsa loses this game, they're behind the 8-ball, if you will, for a team that has JQ as its quarterback. They're behind the 8-ball, and there's not a lot of time to recover.
No, they're not. With, like as I said earlier in the broadcast, with Sioux Falls and Minnesota going up to 6-4, it moves Minnesota into the 10th spot in the playoff. I believe currently Tulsa is ranked 15th, so they need this win if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Tulsa would have been in the playoffs if they started before this week, but now as this week has gone on, that may have changed. So they need a win, you would think, to stay in the mix. Kentez Johnson now trailing for the first time today. That's a nice throw, and the second catch for Dusty Roark, who had just 21 through her team's first 9 games.
Yeah, Dusty Roark just finds a perfect spot right in the middle of the field. The only empty spot. Tulsa didn't have any defenders there, and he picked up those yardage.
2 catches for 47 yards for Dusty today, second-year tight ends. And again, this Charleston offense looks totally different. Roark was the number 2 tight end for a lot of last year. Now the number 1 and 3 brand-new wideouts to catch passes for Kentez Johnson. A lot of work done in the offseason by the Preds. Johnson will throw, looking for not one of those new wideouts. That's Cyril Rioli, number 5 wideout on this team. So Charleston is really bringing out all the different players on their roster, Mickey, and those backups have let them down.
Yeah, Skinny Washington was there, just great coverage, saw the ball coming, put up his hand. Charleston is bringing out everybody, and just mix everything up. You don't want to rely on Swearingen the whole game. You got to keep Tulsa on their toes.
Poor Davius Reed and Christopher Ochoa have barely been able to do anything so far in this game because of it. Swearingen gets the give, the gain of 3, tackled by David Ware. Here's the rest of the Tulsa defense. Berto DeMora, Chris Andrews, Jaden Swift, and Mike Mello on the line. Miles Gibson, David Ware, and Philadelphia Collins are the backers. Cornerbacks, Nate Heslip, Cameron Shaw, and Skinny Washington, and the safeties, Marco Swift and Travis Arthur, who had that interception earlier in this game, his first of the season. That's the defense for defensive coordinator Jaden Swift. 5.5 left until halftime. This way, that pass is caught by Christopher Ochoa. We just mentioned him, former Queen City Corsair, playing for a new team for the first time in his pro career. He is having a career season here for Charleston, but that pass led him out of bounds. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, I would think Charleston will go a little bit down the field just to try to get the first down. Looks like they're going to give the ball back to Tulsa now.
So they elect to punt it from their own 41-yard line, and we'll see Jared Ruffhead for the second straight possession for the Preds. Again, it's Gabriel Manning ready for the return. Here he goes, puts on that spin move pretty early, and again, Charleston is ready for it. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website, www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Well, 2 straight losses now for Tulsa after they had won 5 straight. They started the season by losing 2 straight, so they're hoping to kickstart another 5-game winning streak, which would see them in the championship game. Douglas Brown kickstarting this drive, and away he goes. Left sideline, only one man can stop him. It's Mark Martin. He has no chance. Douglas Brown to the house. 78 yards. Touchdown.
Douglas Brown found the hole, ran wide up the field. I said it before, and I'll say it again. If he can break any of these tackles, he's going to go for a score, and that's what he did on this pass play.
11th rushing touchdown of the season for the sophomore standout Douglas Brown, combining all of those things that he does. Bruising ability, breakaway ability, and a 78-yard run for one of the best young offensive players in the league today. Tulsa extends the lead on just 1 play. Big strike offense, not necessarily a feature of this team, Mickey, but if you've got Doug Brown on your team, maybe you have that ability to throw out a quick strike.
Well, and that's exactly what Tulsa needed. Get a big lead, be comfortable, let Charleston play from behind. Let them make the mistakes.
As you just saw, the graphic from our stat team and from Cameron Irvine, 99 yards unofficially for Brown on just 8 carries, over 12 yards per rush. Typically averages just over 5 yards per rush, which is a top 10 mark in the league, and taking his game to another level so far here this afternoon. He was really good last week against DC. Rushed for 105 total yards. So far, he's already got nearly 100 here in the first half. No chance on that return for Sarah Storm. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams. All the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. SimulationFL.net, your home for everything SFL. If you're on that website, you'll see Kentez Johnson a lot. He's been in this league a long time, and now he will fire into traffic, swatted and intercepted by Philadelphia Collins. He will race down the right sideline inside the 20 and tackled by a pair of Preds, including Kentez Johnson. First interception of the season for the linebacker Philadelphia Collins, and it is all Tulsa here in the second quarter.
That's right, Tim. And Nate Heslip, we called his name earlier, calling it again. He's the one who deflected that ball so that Tulsa could get that interception. Looks like they may take advantage of another turnover by Charleston.
Again, that is not something that we've seen a lot from these two teams. Tulsa does not take the ball away all that much. 21 takeaways, it's about league average. Only 19 interceptions, 19th in the league, but they've got a couple today. This from an unlikely source, Philadelphia Collins. That sets Q up in the red zone already. Brown tackled in the backfield. Great one-on-one stop by Jack Brown.
Yeah, Doug Brown they're trying to get him a little bit more action. He might be a little gassed from that 77-yard run, but they still need to just keep on pounding the ball, get it into the end zone, increase this lead.
Brown now in his 11th season in the SFL. Jack Brown, that is, and Douglas Brown gets the carry that time, and he's thrown down by Sam Blotner, second season cornerback. No relation, Douglas Brown and Jack Brown. Figured that they might be matching up quite a bit today. Again, Jack used to be the inside linebacker for a long time for Charleston. He has played outside before. Now an outside linebacker on a team with 4 standouts. Q's throw swatted and then into the hands of a desperado and dropped. There were about 3 different players who had a chance to make a catch on that play, and none of them did. 4th down.
It looked like that ball went around like a pinball machine over there. As you said, it hit about 3 different players, and it almost hit the ground. Somebody tried to snag it off the ground, but it just wound up just laying there.
So Brooke Beisel will come on for her second field goal attempt in just a couple of minutes, made from 36 earlier in this quarter. 17 of 18 on her kicks so far in her sophomore season, 95%. It's been a good season for kickers here in the SFL. Much better snap for her this time, and the kick, no problem. Beisel good from 36, and now from 32, and Tulsa once again, making, to your point, takes advantage of the takeaway. They turn that into 3 points, and they extend the lead.
Like I was mentioning before, keep the lead, keep it comfortable for Tulsa, let Charleston make the mistakes, and that's what happened on Charleston's last drive. They tried to get the ball in there, made a mistake, and it cost them an interception and another 3 points for Tulsa.
Philadelphia Collins with the interception, his first of the season on the pass from Kentez Johnson on the first play of the drive, and then 4 plays later, Brooke Beisel hits her 19th field goal of the season. So the Charleston offense has really sputtered, Mickey. They had a short field after that interception on their first drive defensively. They go down the field and score on the touchdown from Kentez to Sarah Storm. Since that touchdown, the drive summary for Charleston looks like this: interception, punt, interception. They haven't held the ball for longer than 5 plays. Check that, 6 plays since that first drive. They've barely moved the ball. Keith Swearingen trying to change that. Stop and start. There you go. Exactly what the doctor ordered, and a gain of 12 for Keith Swearingen on first down.
Yeah, Swearingen, once again, right up the middle, found the hole. Once again, it looked like nothing was going to happen, but he just made a good move, was able to get past the first down marker and move those chains.
One of the the best tailbacks in recent league history. Keith Swearingen started this season by scoring 6 touchdowns in Charleston's first game. I'm sure our stat team doesn't want me to mention that, sorry. But he has slowed down a little bit since then. He's scored 14 total touchdowns, so you do the math after 6 touchdowns in week 1, but he's still been very, very good. Gain of 12 for him there. Deep drop for Johnson, runs right into the traffic and is slammed down by Chris Andrews. Got the ball away just barely to avoid the sack, but a big hit by the veteran defensive end.
Luckily, Kentez Johnson got that ball away. It looked like he fumbled it at first, but R62 turned around and said, nope, his arm was going forward, so it's an incomplete pass.
Got a look there on the camera at Davius Reed, offseason acquisition from Los Angeles, expected to be the number 1 wideout here for Charleston. He's then surpassed by Christopher Ochoa. Johnson will fire looking for Reed, and it's broken up by Travis Arthur. It looks like Reed had it in his hands, but the sophomore safety, Arthur, jawed at him as they head back to the huddle.
Yeah, we've been calling Travis Arthur's name a lot this game. He was right there with the receiver. Just perfect timing to deflect that ball, so make it go incomplete.
Does not have big numbers this season, Travis Arthur. Not that many tackles, only 6 pass breakups and no interceptions before today. Obviously, that has all changed. He's been a focal point of this defense. 3rd down and 10. Charleston desperately trying to sustain a drive. Johnson throws short. It's caught again by Roark, but Tulsa again ready for it. They hold Dusty to a generous gain of 5, tackled by Lee Palmer and a couple of others, and Charleston will have to punt again.
Looks like that Tulsa just had great coverage down the field. Johnson had to dump down over the middle short, and that's why we're going to be punting right now.
After Charleston started this game with a touchdown on its first drive, this is now their 5th straight where they come away empty. 3rd punt for Jared Ruffhead and another punt return opportunity. Fair catch called for and made by Gabriel Manning. So, Mickey, you've hinted at it already. These in the Central Division, it has gotten razor thin, the margins. 3 teams were tied for first place in this division before this week. Sioux Falls, Minnesota, and Tulsa all at 5-4. But as you mentioned, Sioux Falls and Minnesota have both already won this week. So they are now both 6-4, still atop the division. If Tulsa loses, they fall a game back at 5-5, and only 2 games left. They won't have a lot of tiebreakers either. Sioux Falls has the tiebreaker right now in this division as Brown picks up 6 through the air. Sioux Falls has already defeated both Tulsa and Minnesota this season, so when everybody was even, Sioux Falls would have the tiebreaker just by that mark. And as Cameron Irvine was telling us before the game, strength of victory, which is one of the SFL's central tiebreaker marks, Minnesota has that edge as well. So Tulsa is going to need to do some work. They're already looking really sharp here this afternoon. Tulsa by 13 with 2 minutes left in the first half. This is the SFL presented by APM Music, live on YouTube. Happy to have you with us. Lucy Red Stadium in Oklahoma. Tim Hackett and Mickey Melillo, Ethan Kai, Paulie Truth, and Chairman Irvine on hand for you here this afternoon. Tulsa on a roll. They've scored the last 20 points. Q fires over the middle, snagged. Another catch for Gabriel Manning. Had a quiet-ish day last week, Mickey, and he's had a big one so far here this afternoon.
We usually mention Gabriel Manning's name more on the kick returns, but he's just coming up big in the passing game today for Tulsa.
3rd catch for 92 yards unofficially for Gabriel Manning. He's now over 750 receiving yards this season. Top 30 in the league in every receiving category. Catches, receiving yards, touchdowns, and targets. Far and away this team's top pass-catching option. And he's lived up to that billing so far here. On the ground they go. Douglas Brown runs into a pair. Kevin Brackett with that stop. Let's introduce you to Charleston defense before we get away any further. The defensive line, Robert Cherry and Mar Rivers, strong defensive tackle tandem. Thomas Matthews and John Lawley on the fringes. The linebackers, Kevin Brackett, Ace Singletary, Eric Hammer, and Jack Brown. And in the secondary, Jacob Clear, Mark Martin, Sam Blotner, Ricky Thornton, and John Stamengo. Q will try to test that secondary, and he does. Another dot from JQ, this time to DJ Hume.
And it does look like Tulsa's going to hurry up. Looks like they want another score before the half.
They snap it with 53, and that will stop the clock. Nicely done, an easy pitch and catch from Tulsa. Q to Gabriel Manning. That's a play they've run a lot historically, Mickey. You haven't seen that quite as much this year, but it's good for 3, and more importantly, it stops the clock.
Yeah, if Tulsa wants to keep this lead or extend it, They got to keep that clock on their side.
Remember, Tulsa used a timeout early on in this game on that patented bait and switch play, so they only have 2 left. Charleston has all 3. 51 seconds left in the half. 2 in the backfield for Q and 3 in the pattern. Q steps up, lofts it over the middle, and swatted away. The official was there, and so too was Ricky Thornton, who had the interception earlier in this half. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, Ricky Thornton was just playing back. Once again, they were in zone defense. Watching JQ's eyes the whole way, saw where he was looking, just stepped right up in the path of the ball.
And Ricky Thornton, formerly the safety here for Tulsa, comes over to Charleston in the offseason as they completely remake their secondary. One of 3 newcomers in this secondary for Charleston, and he makes a big play there. 3rd down now from the 30. 4 wides now for JQ. 4 rushing for Charleston. Q's pass swatted away. John Stamengo, one of the holdovers for this Charleston secondary. Team's leader in tackles, one of their leaders in a lot of different phases. Makes a big play on 3rd down, and here comes Beisel again.
And Charleston defense is coming up when they're on the short field. They're coming up big when they're on the short field, holding Tulsa to 3 once again, it looks like.
Beisel has already made twice today. This will be her longest attempt of the afternoon. Connor Davis is the center. DeShera Young, the holder. Snap the ball with 7, and Charleston gets in there and blocks it. A huge stop on defense by the Preds.
It looked like it was a low snap, so I think the holder was just having a little bit difficulty getting it down for Beisel. Charleston just came through that line and blocked it. Big play for the Charleston defense there to get the ball back at the end of this half.
And we've seen the snaps look to be a little bit off on a couple of occasions for Tulsa so far in this game, and it's Tommy Radakonis, from one of the backups making that big play. So Charleston now, again, all 3 timeouts trying to move the ball. Johnson outside to Keith Swearingen for a gain of 4. Check that, Terrell Sutherland, the fullback on that catch.
Well, the big thing on that play, looks like looks like he may have gotten out of bounds. Clock is stopped, so that's good for them to keep this play going till the halftime.
Sutherland is one of the league's most used fullbacks, 15 carries and now 15 catches on the season. Off the field here on 2nd and 6. Johnson steps up, throws right seam, caught. Dusty Roark has another grab, shakes away from a tackle down the right sideline. She goes and stopped inside the 10-yard line by Miles Gibson. Charleston uses its first timeout, a career game for the tight end, Dusty Roark.
And that's the play that Charleston needs right now, just to get the momentum back on their side. Big play, Dusty, as you saw right there, just breaks that tackle, gets another 15-20 yards to get them closer to the end zone.
On the season, Dusty Roark had 224 receiving yards. So far today, making unofficially 103, so nearly halfway to her season total in just one half.
And that play alone, 51 yards for Dusty.
Crazy. Longest play of the season, and that gets Charleston inside the 10-yard line. Desperados put 4 on the line, show a little bit of pressure. Charleston takes its time. Kentez snaps it with 10, tosses it out. Keith Swearingen accelerates, sidesteps, and Swearingen leads for the line and is brought down short. Great tackle by the rookie Skinny Washington. Gibson was there as well. Timeout Charleston, 2nd and goal from the 1.
Skinny Washington with a great tackle, keeping Swearingen out of the end zone. The 3rd-round pick from San Jose.
He had the Rookie of the Year last year, and King Rashid, he left. They pick up Skinny Washington, and he has filled that void nicely. 2nd down and goal. First time Charleston has been in this situation. They'll toss it to Swearingen, and Swearingen gets buried by the veteran corner, Nate Heslip.
Nate Heslip has been coming up big for the Tulsa defense all game long. He was right there in perfect coverage to make sure that Swearingen did not get in on that swing pass.
His 3rd tackle and yet another TFL for him this season. And Charleston is going to bring the kicking unit out here, Mickey. This is about the time of game where this happens, and with 14 seconds left, here comes Brad Breckett. Try for a chip shot.
Get a few points on the board before halftime.
Hold down from Warren King. Better snap than what we saw on the other side from Tulsa. And Breckett, who's only missed one field goal this season, is good from 18 yards out. Do you like that decision to go for it? Was 3rd and goal with 14 seconds. What do you think about that thought process there for Jacob Clear and company?
Well, considering that they were out of timeouts, if they wound up being tackled in bounds, the clock would have ran out and they would have not gotten any points on the board. So I think it was a good play to at least get 3 going into the half.
It's a good point. You feel like they had at least one chance to throw it for the end zone, but maybe that would have made them too predictable. Tulsa has 2 timeouts left and a great returner in Manning who gets him out to the 28-yard line. So 6 seconds left. How aggressive would you be if you're Deion Hawkins?
With Tulsa, I would just say take a knee, go into the half, and just take your 10-point lead.
Of course, you could always give it to Douglas Brown and see if he can whip out another 70-plus yard run, right?
That's also true,
Already
too.
has done that. Already's done that once today. He's now sidecar left with JQ in the shotgun with 6 seconds left. Q is going to throw it. So much for playing it safe. They will throw it out to Manning. Manning is tackled inbounds, and that will let the clock run out. So just another bonus catch for Gabriel Manning to help him move up the leaderboards in that metric. A 20-0 run for Tulsa, snapped by 3 points at the end of the half from Charleston, and the Desperados have a 10-point lead at the halftime break in a crucial game for both teams. Mickey Melillo, it's been an exciting game. I mean, we expected this game might be close. These teams have played plenty of close games over the years. The all-time series is virtually dead even. And with a lot on the line here in Week 12 in a 14-week season, it's been a good game so far.
It's been a fantastic game. The key to the game right now has been the turnovers and what the other team can do once they get that turnover and taking advantage. Tulsa has gotten 2 interceptions and have scored off of both. Same thing with Charleston. They got 1 interception. They were able to score that first touchdown. Each team has to watch their mistakes and get them to a minimum. And if there is a mistake by the other team, they must take advantage of that mistake.
You made a great point because really both teams have taken advantage of all of the miscues from the other team. If that wasn't a turnover, that blocked field goal, but Charleston was still able to take advantage of that. The difference, though, is that Tulsa has been able to take advantage of standard drives. When Charleston has punted the ball, and Charleston punted the ball 3 times in that first half, Tulsa was able to take advantage, and that's why they're up by 2 possessions.
And it's also true. Charleston does need to try to keep their hands on the ball and keep possession.
JQ has had a solid day so far, nearly 200 yards passing. Douglas Brown with 100 yards rushing once again. He is now over the 1,000-yard mark. Lost in the shuffle of that 77-yard run that you saw right there. That put Douglas Brown over the 1,000-yard mark here in his 2nd season. Highlight reel here for Philadelphia Collins, the young linebacker. His 3rd season in the SFL, has his first pick this season. And then Brooke Beisel, after she had already made 2, this is one of them, had 1 blocked. Something you only see infrequently here in the SFL, Mickey. And I know you know that kickers' lives can be treacherous here in this league. And typically kickers are so reliable that once one misses one or one has one blocked like that, nothing Beisel could do, then sometimes it really shifts the tenor of a game.
Yeah. Being, as you said, a kicker myself, I know that when I missed my first one, it rattled me to the core. But Brooke did great. Come back out. She has to come back out, shake it off, and just do her job and put the ball through the uprights for the rest of the game.
What do you do to rebound from that? Because missing kicks is inevitable for every kicker in this league, even for Shark Tarkington and Cole Varner and folks like that. Everybody misses kicks. So what do you do to rebound in a situation like what Beisel just did? Again, it wasn't her fault. She just had it blocked after a bad snap.
All you got to do is you just got to turn around, let it be behind you, and look forward to the rest of the game.
We're looking forward to the rest of this game. It's been a good one so far, and Tulsa has a 10-point lead. Charleston will get the ball first. Here's Saren Storm, again, 3rd in the league in yards per kick return. He has not been able to showcase his stuff much at all so far in this game. Happy to have you with us. We're live from Lucy Red Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Visit Lucy Red Energy Drink at lucyred.com and see why the energy is amazing. Alongside Mickey Melillo, he plays kicker. I'm Tim Hackett. We've got Ethan Kai and Paulie Truth in the stat truck. Cameron Irvine working hard behind the scenes. Charleston scored the first points of the game, then Tulsa scored the next 20. Kentez Johnson fires, tipped, and intercepted right into the hands of Cameron Shaw. A third pick by a third different desperado. And just like Charleston did to start the first half, Tulsa starts the second half with a takeaway.
Yeah, that's the classic tip drill right there. You get double covered, picked off the ball. There's nothing you can do about that for Charleston.
Kentez Johnson has not thrown a ton of interceptions this season, just 20, which again sounds like a lot, but relative to the league, it is not. One of the 10 fewest interceptions, top 10 fewest interceptions in the league, I should say, tied with JQ in that metric before today, but that is now 3 giveaways by the veteran signal caller. Tulsa already across midfield. Q pumps and is blown up, dropped for a loss of 6. Another sack for Mar Rivers. He is eating his cheeseburgers lately.
Yeah, he just got in the backfield right there. JQ was looking down the field, didn't see him come over the line. Big sack there by the Pred.
Well, some villains have a redemption arc, but Mar Rivers just has a road to recovery arc. He's been out of the league and now is returned with a vengeance. Q throws and spinning catch for Gabriel Manning. Unbelievable. Somehow sheds Kevin Brackett, another former LA Lycan, and Gabe Manning has a gain of 14 somehow.
I have no idea how Manning kept onto that ball. He got hit so hard and did a barrel roll when he got hit by the Charleston defender. What a great snap.
I love this game, Mickey. He dives out. He's going in the direction of the center of the field, and then the hit from Brackett spun him back so hard he ended up nearly on his feet and facing the other sideline. Explain that one to me. Minus 1 point for physics. Third down, Q's throw swatted away. Another pass breakup by this Preds defense. That's Eric Hammer, veteran linebacker, a former standout, another former middle linebacker in his career, flexing out outside just like Jack Brown did. His biggest play of the game is 4th down.
And here comes Brooke Beisel, as we were mentioning before. She's just got to shake off that block from before and just put that ball through the uprights like she has so many times this season.
It goes down as a missed kick for Beisel, just her second this season, but she's already made 2 today. Let's see what Connor Davis and company can do to fix the poor snaps. That one was better, and the kick from Beisel is good. Recovery and redemption for Brooke Beisel, and you see how pumped up she is about it. Tulsa back on top by 13.
Yeah, it was a much better snap by the long snapper there. The holder got it down, perfect, laces out, and Beisel just put it right through the middle of the uprights.
Exactly what was needed. So she's now made 20 kicks this season, made from 51 last week against DC. It was one of her longest kicks of the season. There she's good from 48. And she's really become a reliable piece for this Tulsa team, but they have struggled to score sometimes. They've struggled to move the ball sometimes. Tulsa is such an interesting team, Mickey, because it feels like they aren't amazing at anything, and that is it's been a trend for them last year as well. They gave up so many yards. They were dead last in the league, gave up more yards than anybody else, and they're pretty much in that territory again defensively, and somehow they got into the playoffs despite that, despite all the giveaways from JQ. Were able to make up for that in a lot of other ways, get into the playoffs and win a game for the first time in a long time, and they're on the fringes of getting into the playoffs once again. Keith Swearingen on the ground, a couple of spins for Swearingen and a nice gain of 4.
Yeah, and as you were saying before, you were saying that Tulsa is just a team that doesn't seem to be the best at anything, and that might be their advantage right there. Every team underestimates them, so they don't know what they're going to get. So that's to Tulsa's advantage.
I think that's a great point. And frankly, I mean, they were just not a good team the previous 2 seasons. And last season, they were just really solid, able to overcome some of the things, like we said, and win a lot of games that people were not expecting them to. Great one-on-one stop. David Ware against Keith Swearingen. Off-season acquisition. Ware spent his first 2 seasons with the Carolina Skyhawks, his first year playing for Tulsa, and no gain for Swearingen.
Yeah, David Ware just stepped up, filled that hole. Swearingen couldn't get anywhere.
Another third down here for Charleston. Remember, they converted just 48% this season. 22nd in a 28-team league. Johnson's going to go deep, has a target wide open, a step behind the defense. It's Saren Storm. So much for being bad on third down. Storm will high step it into the end zone. Storms are brewing here in Tulsa. Saren's got his second touchdown of the afternoon.
Well, there's the broadcaster curse right there. You make mention of something, the other thing happens. Saren Storm right there got a step on the defender and was going down the field. Was able to break that tackle by Swift and just keeps on going and even high-stepped his way into the end zone. Great, fantastic touchdown by Storm.
I had to clench because I wasn't sure if Saren Storm was going to be able to recover in time to continue to actually cross that goal line and cap off that touchdown, but you can breathe easy. Saren Storm had just 2 touchdowns through 9 weeks, 2 touchdowns this afternoon, and Charleston, Mickey, is right back into this game after going down 20-7.
And that might be the momentum shift that Charleston needs.
PAT from Breckett is up and good, and it is a 1-score game once again. 63 yards on that pitch and catch. It was 3rd and 6. Charleston had converted just 1 third down in this game. And then, like you said, Mickey, right on cue, they say, forget that. We don't need 6 yards. We want 6 points. And Charleston now back within 6 with 8:31 left in the third.
Remember, Charleston was down 20-3 at one point. They're climbing their way back to be a 1-possession game.
It's been an impressive rally from Charleston. They realize their season is on the line. Kick return here from Manning, but a good one to start the game, and has not been able to do much since. Tulsa will start from the 26-yard line. I mean, again, Mickey, I don't know if Charleston mathematically is eliminated by losing this game, but for all intents and purposes, they would be, even if the math doesn't quite knock them out today. Maybe it would even be by the end of the day. We'll check with Cameron Irvine, who's always got the calculators up and the permutations running, but at 5-7, even if Charleston loses today and wins its final 2 games, that's probably not going to do it. Rarely ever does in this league. You've got to be 500, it seems, to have a chance. Nice throw from Q, and diving across the first down line and getting it is Corey Jones.
Yeah, Corey Jones right there makes a good move. He was a little short of the first down marker. Saw where it was, just did a little twist and turn and fell over the line to get the chains moving downfield.
I've always said that 6-6 is the bare minimum a team needs to be to have a chance, but in recent years, that hasn't always been the case. First down, Brown tries to run outside. Charleston blows it up. Stamengo was there. So too is Thomas Matthews. Had just 4 TFLs this season as a defensive end. Give him 1 there.
It's a huge play for Charleston. They got to keep the momentum in their favor if they want to come back and win this game, and that was one of the plays that's going to keep the momentum in their favor.
That drops Brown back under the 100-yard mark. He has not done a lot here in the second half. Q will throw high. What a catch! Somehow that one was snagged by DJ Hume. We've seen a couple of high-dollar catches by both of these teams, and DJ Hume has that one.
Another great pass by JQ, just putting it right in the perfect spot. DJ Hume, quadruple covered there, 4 defenders around him, just came down with that ball.
Everybody made at least a couple of catches last week against DC. Everybody's got at least 1 catch so far here against the Preds for Tulsa. Diversified offense. 7 minutes left in the third. Q's pass is caught right at the first down line, and spinning and getting the first down for good is DJ Hume, the ultimate slot receiver in this league, Mickey. He's just 5'10", 185, but somehow he seems to find those holes, and he's got another nice catch.
Well, being just that slot back and being just as fast as he can just find the seams in the defense, stand there, and wait for Jay to throw it to him.
Shout out to Kansas City and DJ Hume. Most famous Kansas City in the SFL. That pass behind the target, Copeland Jr., and instead into the back of number 48, Eric Hammer. Again, former standout middle linebacker, now an outside linebacker here for Charleston. He's had a really good year. 2.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and an interception for Hammer. 9 tackles and 2 for a loss last week for Charleston against Indy. Second down, Q lofts that one into traffic, and in stride, another catch. Gabriel Manning, his 7th grab of the afternoon. That was a beauty from JQ.
Oh, JQ just happened to. He didn't happen. He saw Manning. Put it right there. Caught him in stride. Huge catch by Manning there.
Realistically, you saw all three of those guys wearing the Tulsa teal were there. Robinson, Manning, and Hume were all potential targets for a Q, and he just picked the best option. Another big gain. Manning over 130. Brown spinning back up. That'll put him back over the century mark and a gain of 3.
Tulsa's still fighting here. They don't like this one-score game. They want to extend their lead just so they could have that little bit of cushion to go into the rest of the second half.
That previous play, gain of 19 for number 18. And Tulsa now with the ball on the 30-yard line. It's been slowed it down just a little bit as Charleston has been able to rise back up and get within 6 as we outlined. Tulsa will stack it a little bit. A couple of extra tight ends. Q to the top of the screen. That's caught. Douglas Brown was lined up out there, and he will make that catch for a short gain.
Like that's Douglas Brown's only 3rd catch of the game. I know he's one of the great receiving backs as well, but that's only his 3rd reception.
This is a surprise. They haven't really gone to him very much in that phase of the game.
No, it's very surprising.
58 catches for him on the season. Averages better than 5 yards per catch. Need at least 4 here to move the sticks. From the split back set, Q throws, and Manning makes the catch, but he's out of bounds, they say, just a yard short. He was right on that magic yellow line, Mickey. This might be worth another look.
I'm thinking the same thing, Tim. He looks like he was right there at the first yard marker. Don't know what the refs were seeing there. Doesn't look like they're going to challenge, though.
I've seen Deion Hawkins challenge more than once this season, but he will not do that here. Fans in the YouTube chat think that was good enough for a first down without a challenge, but Deion Hawkins is not throwing out the red flag, so Brooke Beisel will come on for yet another field goal attempt. Already had one blocked as we outlined. Charleston sends the house, but Beisel is able to get it up and through from 41. 4th made kick today for Brooke Beisel, and Tulsa now back up by 9.
And I got to give Brooke Beisel credit. After getting that kick blocked earlier, Charleston, as you said, brought in the house. She saw all those white jerseys coming at her, but she kept her focus, kicked the ball, and put it through the uprights.
Following your advice to a T, Mickey, I mean, I imagine that a kicker would have to be absolutely shaken to their core after getting a field goal blocked. I mean, you're looking at it like, all right, this is my only job. Yeah, I have to kick it off too, but that might not be that hard necessarily, even with Saren Storm back there. Much harder to hit field goals, especially in crunch time situations. And she has one blocked, nearly gets pile driven back in the process, and she has come back out there and hit from 40 plus twice, which isn't easy to do. And she's been one of Tulsa's best players in this game.
He has been. Absolutely has been, and you're right. It takes a strong will to go back out there after almost getting hit like she did on that blocked field goal.
So Charleston started the season with a resounding win against Seattle in week 1. They were 2-2 after 4 weeks, and then they dropped off 4 games in a row. And they won last week 23-19 over Indianapolis to snap that losing streak. Swearingen trying to make it 2 wins in a row and a gain of 11 for Cool Keith Swearingen. But there's a man down behind the play. Check that. Woman down behind the play. Dusty Roark, and that is catastrophic for Charleston. She's having a career game.
He's having a huge game. It's going to be a huge blow for Charleston right now. 4 catches, 103 yards. Not having her on the field. Hope they can find somebody to take her place to get those yardage.
Not good indeed. And Charleston, remember, does not have another standout tight end. This is a team that has rostered a couple of tight ends in years past, but not this year. So what can the Preds do in Roark's absence? Of course, we'll give you updates if we get them. Charleston will throw. Nice catch on the run for Christopher Ochoa, a guy who is really an afterthought in this league, Mickey. I mean, he was a number two wideout to an extent, a number 3 wideout in reality for Queen City. He comes here to Charleston to ostensibly be the number 2 wide receiver behind Davius Reed, but he has been far and away their best wide receiver. Now close to 800 receiving yards. His previous career high was 443. So Ochoa, a new man playing in this Jacob Clear offense with Kentez Johnson as the quarterback. He has turned into a really, really solid weapon. Johnson throws it out. Swearingen gets the spin move and gets a gain of 3.
As Swearingen on that play tried to use his spin move again, didn't get him much extra yardage on that one, but enough to get three yards, get him closer to the first down marker.
Before today, Ochoa, 50 catches for 763 yards and 5 touchdowns, 80 targets. All of those are career highs, and none of them are even close to his previous career high. From midfield into double coverage, try to thread that through to Ochoa, but Tulsa was ready for it. Travis Arthur makes yet another play.
It was just great coverage there. Once again, we've mentioned his name, but Heslip was there just in case he caught that ball. He was going to get that tackle.
And Ochoa has been a big factor. Obviously, Roark is the team's leader in receiving yards today with over 100. Saren Storm has the 2 catches. That's left nothing for Davius Reed. No catches on 2 targets for ostensibly the team's number 1 wide receiver. Do they go his way on 3rd down? No, they'll go the other way, and it is caught. Somehow picking it up off the ground is Saren Storm.
Saren Storm has just been big for the Predators today. He's coming out with big catches, long catches, and amazing catches.
That was his most impressive, no doubt, and he's caught 2 touchdowns today.
And that puts Storm at the century mark. 100 yards on the day, 3 receptions on 4 targets.
And 2 receiving touchdowns gives him a total of 4. 3 receiving touchdowns over over Charleston's last 2 games. Johnson on a fresh set, lofts it up, and that's caught. The pass was behind the target, and there you go. A play after right on cue, but almost right on cue. Davius Reed finally has his first catch of the ballgame.
That might have been part of Charleston's game plan, since Davius Reed has been their number 1 receiver all season long. Get it out to the other receivers because they know they're probably going to cover him or double cover him all game long.
Reed averages better than 18 yards per catch, 4th in the league. They'll throw it short here. That's a nice pickup by Terrell Sutherland. We mentioned him, one of the most used fullbacks in the league, has his 2nd catch today. Not a big yardage guy, but a big usage guy. 14 catches for 62 yards this season, and he's got his 2nd catch of this ballgame.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about fullbacks. They're big, they're fast, they're strong. When you need 2 or 3 yards, you give them the ball.
He gets more than that there to move the sticks. Charleston right back inside the red zone, down by 9. Split back set and 3 wides. Johnston into traffic, one-handed catch by Skinny Washington. Skinny makes himself thick for that one and rips down his 3rd pick of the season. What a stop.
What a catch! What a catch. One-handed interception in the middle of the field. Nobody in front of him. I don't know how he kept that in his hand, but it was a great catch. Big play by Tulsa to turn it around for them.
How many highlight reel catches have we seen by these 2 offenses? And now the defense gets involved. A takeaway for Skinny Washington, for a team that does not take the ball away all that much. Tulsa bending but not breaking in this game. Johnson nearly 300 passing yards, but now 4 interceptions to 4 different players. And there is the status report for Dusty Roark, a huge blow to Charleston's comeback bid. She's out for the rest of the game.
That is tough. Dusty, leading receiver in the game. It's going to be tough to replace her.
No doubt. And as Mickey said, Saren Storm hitting the 100-yard mark earlier in this game. 2 players that combined for about 500 receiving yards, combined for over 200 today. That pass is tipped and intercepted into heavy traffic, and John Stamango comes up with that one. The Predators have just bitten off a lifeline in the middle of the ocean. Did that hit the ref?
It hit the ref, Tim. Hit him right in the head. That's where the deflection came in for Stamango.
Unbelievable. Have you ever seen that in this league?
I have not. That's the first for me.
That is absolutely unbelievable. John Stamango says, thank you very much. Interception number 4. Charleston right back inside the 40-yard line like nothing ever happened. Johnson nearly gave it right back. Miles Gibson was there to paw it away.
Miles Gibson didn't even move. He just sat there, put up his hand, and just swatted it down. It was almost like Johnson was throwing it right at him.
You mentioned these two quarterbacks, relative to league average, have not thrown very many picks. There are only 8 quarterbacks in the league that threw fewer interceptions than Q or Kentez Johnson. Before action this week, so far today, they've combined for 6 picks.
That's amazing. That's also a testament to both of these defenses as well.
No doubt, they've played very well today in a lot of ways. Johnson lost it up. Swearingen trying to accelerate, and he is grounded to a halt. David Ware has been everywhere today. You see it there, his 7th tackle this game.
Yeah. David Ware, you're right. He has been everywhere. He's making tackles. He's making plays. He's the big player on the defense right now. He may not be getting picks, but he's making those tackles, which are key for Tulsa.
Another third down opportunity for Charleston. They'll throw. Johnson's pass, diving catch is made by Davius Reed. His second catch of this quarter. That one good enough to move the chains.
Granted, his number hasn't been called much, but when it has, it's been key for the Predators.
That's a gain of 13 for the former LA Lycan. 681, check that, my apologies, that's 675 receiving yards for Davius Reed, second on the team on just 36 catches. So a big play guy shows up with a big play there. Swearingen up the middle, first down to the 11-yard line.
Once again, Swearingen saw that hole, knew he had to go in it, hit the hole, was able to get the 11 yards on that play for the first down. He's going to keep making plays. Even though they're down by 2 scores right now, Swearingen's going to be one of the keys for Charleston.
And it feels like the engine that is Keith Swearingen is starting to pick up steam. Charleston has made it a game. They are within 9 after 3 quarters in Oklahoma. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music live on YouTube. Happy to have you with us. Charleston is right back into this game. Tulsa was up 20-7. Preds back within 9 and threatening once again. Kentez Johnson throws near the end zone. It's caught short of the first down line, short of the goal line, and another great catch for Davius Reed.
Davius Reed had a slow start today, but he's starting to heat up in this second half. Might be exactly part of Charleston's game plan. Keep him quiet in the first half, let him fire up in the second half.
0 catches in the first half, now 3 catches for 30 yards here in the second half. Offset I, second down and inches. Charleston can still get a first down before they score, and they won't do either. Keith Swearingen with the carry and stopped in the backfield by Mike Mello. He did not have any TFLs before last week. He's got another one here today. It's third down.
Mike Mello came through that line like he was on a mission. Found Swearingen, took him down, made it a little bit tougher for Charleston to get a first down or in the end zone now.
First down line is the 1. Tulsa backs off. Johnson throws it short. Swearingen stays on his feet, but ends up going further backwards. The first hit pushed him back. Miles Gibson and Ware there to finish it off. It's now 4th down.
I don't know if that was a great play call by Charleston there. I would have at least tried to throw the ball into the end zone. Throwing it in the backfield, especially how Tulsa's been playing on the goal line all game long, I would have at least tried a shot in the end zone.
And so now down by 9. It's just started the 4th quarter. They're going to kick it here. What do you think about this decision?
Once again, you're down by 2 points. At some point in time, you're going to need to get that field goal. Touchdown's more important, but get the points on the board.
Brad Breckett on for another chip shot, and he is good once again. So he's made from 18 and now made from 22, and Charleston does indeed make it a 1-possession game once again. Breckett now 18 of 19 on his field goal attempts this season. Charleston getting down deep twice, coming up short twice. They have struck on a couple of big plays in this game, Mickey, but they have not been able to score consistently in the red zone, and that has cost them at times in this game.
3 points is good. You do need to get those 6 and 7 points to be able to win ball games.
Charleston has really ratcheted it up after struggling down the stretch. Remember, they made it 20-10 at halftime. Then Johnson threw a pick on the very first play of the second half. Then it was a big touchdown to Saren Storm, then another pick from Kentez Johnson, and then immediately after was the pick on the other side defensively that hit the referee. And then Charleston goes 8 plays, 32 yards for that field goal from Brad Breckett. And it's now a 6-point game for JQ and company to try to nurture. Delayed handoff. Brown moves outside, and Douglas Brown with a nice gain of 4. Mark Martin makes that stop. A couple of changes in this secondary this offseason, as we mentioned, for Charleston. Sam Blotner is in his second year. Jacob Clear is the veteran. They bring back John Stamengo, who's been good for the last couple of seasons, but they bring in Ricky Thornton from Tulsa. They convinced Mark Martin to move from Carolina to Charleston. I have no idea how they did that. That's always a big rivalry. And this team looks very different from last season, and it's part of the reason why they've struggled in a lot of ways as Manning makes that catch on second down. This Charleston defense, Mickey, I mean, it has been known as one of the best units in the SFL, but they have really, really struggled this season relative to what they did last year. Last year, 5th fewest points allowed. This year, 7th most. Last season, the fewest rushing yards allowed in the league. This year, the 2nd most. Last year, 6th fewest yards. This year, 4th most. So it's really been an opposite end of the spectrum type season for Charleston, and Brown picks up the first down on the grounds. Eric Hammer makes the tackle, but Brown with a gain of 3.
And as you were saying, Tim, as much as the Charleston defense has been struggling, in this second half, they have been the key to the Predators staying within this game. Remember at the half, they were down 20-10, and they've only given up 2 field goals so far in this second half. That's what's keeping them in this game, is their defense right now.
Brilliant point. The unit has struggled this year, but they've been great right now when it counts the most. Out of the backfield, that's Justin Williams, who gets his first touch of the day. Did not have a touch last week against DC for Tulsa, and just his 11th catch of the season. That's good for a gain of 4.
Yeah, Justin Williams is not the fullback that like Sutherland is for the Predators, but when he gets the ball, like I said before, fullbacks get the yards.
Only 1 carry. That came 2 weeks ago against Sioux Falls, and a dot this time again from JQ. He's thrown a couple of interceptions in this game, Mickey, but this is one of the best performances I've seen from JQ. Some of these throws have been excellent. Hume has that catch.
And the catches today have just been outstanding in this game. JQ right now, 264 yards, 23 completions. He's just having a game.
He's just not a quarterback that passes very much. He's 22nd in the league in completions, 26th in attempts, 25th in yards, all bottom 5. He's had a solid game. Brown on the carry, loss of 1, they say. Jack Brown rises up to make that tackle. Q, just for perspective, averages throwing the ball 35 times per game. He's already thrown it 32 times here in this game.
It might have been part of their game plan, knowing that JQ doesn't throw the ball as much. Using his pass and using his arm to just get in the lead might have been the game plan for Tulsa today.
He'll throw it again. That's pass attempt number 33 for Q, and Gabriel Manning makes that catch. He'll be a yard short of the sticks.
Well, we'll see what Tulsa does here. As you said, they're not usually a passing game, but it's been working all game. Are they going to go to Brown, or are they going to go in the air with JQ?
10th catch for Gabriel Manning, and now another 3rd down and 1 this time for Tulsa. They do go Brown's way, and Douglas Brown delivers once again. The second time on this drive, Mickey, that they've run it on 3rd and shorts, and Brown picks it up once again.
Looks like that's what Tulsa's been doing all game. Throw, and then run the ball. Throw, run the ball. Keeping the Predators' defense on their toes, not knowing what's going to come at them.
Neither team has been good on 3rd downs in this game, but that's a critical pickup for Tulsa. Brown will run it outside. Running room for Brown. He gets out to the sideline, breaks away from Jack Brown, spins and scores! Another highlight reel touchdown for Douglas Brown. Tulsa goes back up 2 scores.
Douglas Brown with that spin move at the 1-yard line to make the defender miss and get the 6 points. This game alone has enough highlight reels to make a top 10 list. Let me tell you, Tim.
It was Eric Hammer that missed the tackle at the end of the day, and that spin move from Brown put the finishing touches on another dazzling run for Douglas Brown. 144 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, up to 12 now this season for Brown on the ground alone. And that could be what seals this game for Tulsa with under 6 minutes left. Low snap again, fielded by Young, and Beisel knocks it through. Once again, Mickey, Tulsa takes advantage of those opportunities. Rallies after the field goal. That was all Charleston could get. Goal line stand, really, for the Desperado defense. And then they march down the field's 27-yard rushing score for Douglas Brown.
Yeah, Tulsa has been taking advantage of those turnovers by the Predators. I don't know if Charleston can come back. They gotta just play a little hard, use their brains, not make any mistakes, and they may still have a chance in this game.
One of the best rushing teams in the SFL this season, Charleston. We mentioned Keith Swearingen has had a killer year, over 1,000 rushing yards, top 5 in the league in that department before this week. As a team, the Preds are 7th in rushing yards, but that's all got to go out the window now, you would think. You don't expect Keith Swearingen is going to be able to break off those giant runs all the time, and now with under 6 to go and down 13, Kentez is going to have to air it out, and he's already thrown 4 picks in this game. They will run it on first down. Don't need to abandon him entirely necessarily, and Swearingen with a gain of 4.
And there's David Ware again, all over the field, making those tackles when it's needed.
And remember, Charleston's top receiving option, at least in terms of yards in this game, Dusty Roark, is out for the rest of this game. A career game for her over the century mark, and she's done. So Saren Storm and the rest of the pack going to need to pick it up for Kentez and company. Clock running with 5:10 left. Johnson steps up. Now he feels some heat. Now he will fire, and nobody is home. Cameron Shaw was the nearest player to that throw from Kentez Johnson, and it's fortunate it wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, Johnson just stepped back. He made a good step up when the pocket was starting to collapse. Threw the ball away there. Might have been the best thing he could have done to make sure the ball didn't get intercepted.
Shaw's already picked him off once today. So 3rd down and 6. We've mentioned already it's not been a strong suit for Charleston this season. 3rd down conversions. Johnson throws it to the sideline, hauled in by Christopher Ochoa, but a few yards short of the sticks. And now it's 4th down.
With 5 minutes left in the game, it might be wise for Charleston to go for it here. They don't have much time left. They're down by 13. They need 2 touchdowns. But it does look like they're setting up for that punt.
I feel like I was about to ask you what you would do in this situation, Mickey. I feel like in this situation, teams tend to punt a lot. But like you said, clock running, this possession has lasted about a minute for Charleston, and they didn't get a first down, and I mean it's just disappointing for them as they try to come back in this game.
Yeah, Charleston being down by 13, they need 2 touchdowns just to get back into this game. You're gonna have to take a few risks here. 4th and 2, 5 minutes left, clock running. I would have gone for it.
Well, one of the league's best rushing defenses from a season ago. The best rushing defense in terms of yards per game. One of the worst rushing defenses this season. The Charleston Predators have already allowed Brown to rush for 144, and here he goes again. He's run right into a nice one-on-one tackle by the cornerback, Jacob Clear. Charleston this season is allowing opponents to rush for 2 times as many yards as they did last season. Last season, they allowed 63 yards per game, best in the league. This season, they're allowing 132 yards per game. That is 2nd worst in the league. And so far today, Brown unofficially has rushed for 146, so even higher than the average. Flags fly as Brown is limited to a gain of 1, and it's tackled there by John Lawley, who we have not called very much today, and our first conversation with Ref 62 in quite some time.
Neutral zone infraction.
Offside again.
Defense, repeat, 2nd down.
I mentioned it at the beginning of the game. They got to keep that dirty laundry off the field if they want to stay in this. Those little mistakes are going to cost them. From being a 1-yard gain, it's now 5-yard gain.
And it's Mar Rivers guilty of that infraction. We mentioned how hot he's been recently. And that time he is the villain for this Charleston defense. That's the nickname that he gave himself a couple of years ago and applies to him right there. Villainized by that penalty flag. Free 5 yards. They will run it on 2nd down. There's space for Brown outside, and he's wrenched down from behind. Great tackle by Ricky Thornton. 3rd down and 1.
That was a huge play by the the Predators defense. They need to try to get the ball back here. They got to hold them on third down, get the ball back, and drive down the field for the touchdown.
The former Desperado who started this game with an interception on the first defensive possession for Charleston. The Preds took a 7-0 lead. They have not led since. We'll check that they took a 3-0 lead. My apologies, and they have not led since. 3.5 to go. They'll run it right side. Douglas Brown has space and gets another first down across the midfield line. He's averaging 7 yards per carry, and that is what Brown can do for you. Over 150 rushing yards and a critical first down.
Doug Brown was one tackler away from going down the field. If he was able to just make a move, get in that open field, he would have been in the open field, and he would have scored a touchdown. There was nobody ahead of those tacklers.
Averages better than 5 yards per carry on the balance of the season, one of the top 10 rushing yard marks in the league. And today, 22 carries for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. And now with 3 minutes and ticking, you imagine he might not be done.
I think they're going to keep...
north... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think they're going to keep it on the ground, try to keep this clock running.
Yeah, they go again. And we mentioned the splits between pass attempts and rush attempts. It's now exactly back in line with what we imagined. Q throws the ball about 35 times a game. He's thrown 34 passes today. Brown runs the ball 20 times per game. That's his 23rd carry. So in this league, Mickey, averages tend to line up, especially this late in the season, and so far it has for Tulsa.
Yeah, I think what they're doing, their game plan, throw, then keep it on the ground. I think they got to try to keep it on the ground here, just keep the clock running so they can come out of this game with that win.
They will have to snap it before the 2-minute warning. It's about a half-second difference, so they'll snap it. Brown is plastered, absolutely thrown down for a loss of 2. And now we have hit the 2-minute warning in Tulsa. Critical game for both teams, and the Desperados on top by 13. You're watching the SFL presented by APM Music live on YouTube. Happy to have you with us alongside my partner, Mickey Melillo. I'm Tim Hackett. It's been a great game. Charleston needs to come back to keep their playoff hopes afloat. Tulsa trying to keep pace in their division. Q running for his life, able to lay it off for Brown, and Brown is hit in the backfield by Sam Blotner and company. Great timeout taken by Jacob Clear and Charleston, and it's 4th down.
JQ with a great move. He was dead to rights in the backfield. That defender had nobody blocking him, just had a free pass right to him, made a move. He was able to avoid that sack.
If you can believe it, one of my storylines in this game, Mickey, was that these two teams are both in the top 10 in terms of sacks allowed, and that's a bad thing. Only a few teams have given up more sacks than both Tulsa and Charleston. So far in this game, 1 sack combined, and that was by Mar Rivers. Tulsa has not sacked Kentez Johnson once. They've given up the 5th most sacks in the league so far this season with 25, and Q barely avoids that one and lives to see another day, and they will punt it away to the 17-yard line. That could be a huge difference in this game.
Yes, it can. There was a sack that was close by Tulsa, but it wound up that Johnson was able to get the ball out just in time to make it an incomplete pass. But other than that, they didn't get close to him all game.
Good call by you. That was by Chris Andrews. They will throw it short here on 1st down. Charleston needs to get running. Swearingen is usually a good player to do that. He gets 8, tackled by Lee Palmer. Dime back for Tulsa, who moves all the way to the top of the screen. You see him there, 30 in the teal. Charleston down by 13. Over the middle they go. Another catch for Christopher Ochoa. He's been busy. They'll hurry it up once again. Charleston's catch for Ochoa.
Charleston's going to need to air out this ball if they want a chance to win this game.
They played it short, and they'll play it short once again. Reed makes that catch, gets out of bounds, but only a gain of 4.
At least he's out of bounds. It stops the clock, gives them the chance just to settle down, plan their next play, their next few plays, and try to get down the field for the touchdown. Again, they need 2 touchdowns to take the lead. Field goal's not going to do it this time. They've got to get into the end zone.
They've only picked up 16 yards on their first 3 plays of this drive. It's not going to cut it. There's not enough time to just dink and dunk, like you said. 1:11 left in regulation. Johnson, a deep drop this time. He will still, though, throw it short. That's caught by Nat Fife. It's a first down, but a short gain.
And it keeps the clock running as well. They've got to either try to stop this clock or get into the end zone.
Looked like they were in spike formation, but they will throw it. Swearingen another catch. He stays in bounds and picks up 8. It's a nice gain, but Tulsa will take that.
Charleston has to stop this clock.
40 seconds. They will snap it again. Johnson hit as he throws, lofts it over the middle, and nobody home once again. 3 defenders were there. Maybe that's Dusty Roark territory if she's healthy, Mickey, but she's out for the rest of the game. And so Johnson throws it to no one.
I believe you're right. I think that's Dusty's sweet spot right there. If she was still in there, that would have been a long touchdown for her.
Instead, it's now 3rd and 2, but to your earlier point, it does at least stop the clock. Charleston can change up the formation a little bit. Swearingen is in there, one of the league's leading receivers. Johnson hit it, and down he goes. There is the first sack of the game for the Tulsa defense, and it comes at the most important time. It's 4th down.
The biggest sack that Tulsa could have right now. With playoffs on the line with this game, need to make sure that they stay within the game, try to get the ball back so they can run out the clock. Charleston's coming up, 4th and 5.
3rd last in the league in terms of team TFLs before today. That's now 8 for Charleston. They usually average 5 in a game. Here's a throw. Johnson's pass is caught by Christopher Ochoa inside the 30-yard line. His career season continues.
Great catch by Ochoa, but the problem was he landed in bounds. He was tackled in bounds. So Charleston had to use their last timeout. They need to score twice, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that with 27 seconds left and no timeouts.
You think they have to go for the end zone right here?
They have to go for the end zone right here. They're going to have to go for the onside kick and probably air it out if they recover the onside kick as well.
27 seconds left in the game. Charleston is 28 yards from the end zone. That was the 6th catch today for Ochoa. Good for 23. Johnson will throw into traffic, and somehow that pass is... No, it's not caught.
Oh.
Reed had it initially and broken up by Nate Heslip yet again.
Well, it does stop the clock for the Predators here.
And frankly, Mickey, blessing in disguise, possibly, to your point. If Reed had somehow hauled that in, they still would have been 10 yards short of the goal line.
And the clock would have still running while they were trying to run up and set up for the next play.
Exactly. So they will start it again. 28 yards away, now 23 seconds left in regulation. Preds need 2 touchdowns. Johnson will roll out. He'll throw across his body, and it's dropped by Miles Gibson, the linebacker. I don't know if I've ever seen an SFL QB attempt to play like that, Mickey, but there's a penalty flag. This could be critical. On the defense? Yes. No, on the offense. It's an illegal blindside block against Austin Oganowski, the tackle. You see him there, right tackle for Charleston. We'll see if we get a look at it.
That is unfortunate for Charleston.
Wow.
It pushes them back. 2nd and 29. They've got a third of the field to go just to get a first down.
It was the unsigned tackle Oganowski against Chris Andrews, guilty of that infraction. Now from the 47, Johnson's pass is caught. Nice snag by Davius Reed. It's 3rd and 13, and there are only 10 seconds left. Time to spike it if they hurry, and Johnson will just let the clock run out. Another win for Tulsa. They are right back in the thick of the Central Division, a 3-way tie at 6-4. And for the Predators, their playoff ship might have just sunk. The Desperados go back at home, and they win again. They are 5-0 at home this season. They are right back in the mix. Final score, Tulsa 33, Charleston 20.
That's a huge blow for the Predators. If they wanted any chance to get into the postseason, they needed this win today. They looked like they were going to come back at the start of that second half. They were down 20-10 at the half, came back at 26-20, and just couldn't get any more points on the board.
It was a 20-7 lead for Tulsa, and then, as you said, Mickey, the Preds were right back in it, got as close as 6 points, but as soon as they got within 26-20, they were not able to score again, and Tulsa does just enough to hold on. See the Showboatin's touchdown stretch from Saren Storm. Big day for him, one of the biggest days of his career in a long time. Roark was good for Charleston, but really the rest of the offense was quiet. They held Swearingen, you see that, to 61 rushing yards. That does not happen very often. And it was a really solid performance overall from this Tulsa defense.
Great performance by them. There's that one-handed interception right there. And there's that interception by JQ that bounced off the referee's head. So the defense was the key to this game.
Does the referee get an assist on that interception?
We'll
he
give
get a
him
pass deflection in his stat book?
I think we'll give it to him.
And this Tulsa pass defense, I mean, this has been the case for them in recent history, Mickey. Again, dead last in the league in passing yards, 341 per game. They allowed Johnson to throw for 380, but the rest of those, but other than that, this Tulsa defense was great. They hold Swearingen to well below his average. They pick the ball off 4 times. They win the turnover battle. Not something they have done a lot this season. Coming into today, they were at a flat 0 in turnover differential this season, but today they're +2, and that's good enough to help them get the win. Got to be Brown here, right?
Absolutely. Doug Brown for the player of the game. 24 attempts, 156
2 rushing
yards.
And 2 rushing touchdowns, including that 77-yard highlight reel run to help key that early surge for Tulsa. Mickey Mulillo, I just cut you off. So, your final thoughts in this game?
It was a great defensive battle. Charleston tried to crawl back, but Tulsa just didn't let them, and they came out with the win. They keep their playoff hopes alive.
This Central Division remains razor thin. Tulsa, Sioux Falls, and Minnesota are all 6-4. Look out. They're coming in hot down the home stretch. For Ethan Kai, Paulie Truth, Rochelle Colston, Cameron Irvine, and my partner, Mickey Mulillo, I've been Tim Hackett. Thanks for watching. A couple more games coming up later tonight. We'll see you then. Until then, so long.